So hello and welcome once again to New Junction. It's been a while, several months since the last video where this layout was up in my local church in its exhibition mode. Now as you can see, we're back in the garage. Quite a bit's changed. We've got trains running properly on the layout, and there have been some changes along the way. So quite a bit's going on the layout. Now, since you last saw the layout several months ago, it's actually been out of this garage 2 more times to try and rectify some of the track work problems that we found when it was in the exhibition mode in the church. That's now been done, and I'll go over some of those changes in a minute when I give you a tour of the current condition here on the layout. And I'm quite excited because it's actually worth giving you a layout tour because quite a bit has changed now. Again, raised more issues, more problems to overcome, but that's all part of the fun and part of the hobby, trying to make trains work like the real thing. So I'm going to come to you now and grab the camera and give you a close-up tour of the layout to show you what's been done. So the best place to start is probably where the scene starts, which is the tunnel end. Now, as you can see where the 37 is just coming in, that piece of track is now laid and it's embanked all the way until where the 37 is about to cross. Now you can see the different coloured sleepers just there. That's where the baseboard join is. So there is a lovely banked curve just there. Now, what I found was, on the 2 left-hand lines here and here, that I came round with the embankments pitching off to the right and then pitching it off to the left. That didn't really work. So what I've done is I've taken up the track and I'm going to add in as much of one direction of embanking as possible and not try and be too clever and go the opposite way. So the 2 pieces of track just in front have been removed, basically so I can relay the embanking, and then hopefully we'll have a line that looks as good as, well, hopefully the one that the trains are going round on. It's very subtle and I find it sometimes hard to see on film, however in the flesh it does look quite good, and I'm looking forward to taking some proper photos with the real camera just to see what that looks like. Of course, I'm using the 91 rake just here, basically to test the embanking out. You can sort of, I don't know if you can, to my eye it's leaning over, but it can look a bit higgledy-piggledy. Here's a 68 coming round as well, and again you can see it just leaning out of the tunnel entrance. And I think when trains are sped up, when I'm not trying to be too clever running 2 trains on the same line, this should look rather impressive. Well, only time will tell. So that aside, moving down the layout, not a lot has changed. So we have the same sort of 4 lines. So as soon as that bit of track there is replaced, which shouldn't take too long, we'll have 4 lines here, and I'm looking forward to beginning the scenery. So the next stage from here is actually to get my mini circular saw out and actually trim off some of the baseboard. So for example, you see this baseboard how it's stuck out. It's going to be shaped, so it's going to end in that corner and shaped round. Some of this board at the back will be cut off, and then most of this board to about there is actually going to disappear because I want the heritage line to be an embankment coming round. So yeah, I'm quite looking forward to that. I think the baseboards will start to add a bit of shape, and we can get the embankment on at that point, or embankment started, I should say. So coming round, following the hall as it's come round, pulling a brand new Acura Scale Siphon G, which is very nice, very weighty. You can see now that that disappears off. Ooh, if I can play with the gimbal. Hello. That disappears off, as you can see, because basically what I did was I cut the board out, so I now have a raised area for the second loop on the main line. So all this area here is now raised like the actual main lines that you see here. So any minute now the 37 is coming around. I've just got to make sure they're not catching each other up. As you can see now, what we have there is actually second radius, so you can see it's rather tight. There is always going to be a compromise from how many lines I can actually run, so on second radius or higher. In reality, I'm going to have enough room for 2 lines on this end, and there's going to be a second and third radius curve. As you can see, I've dug out some old radius 2 track just to make sure I am at least second radius with the flexi track. Now, this was actually the woodwork that you see there was actually a quick fix just to see if the idea would work. I do have new bits of plywood which I can cut out to allow extra room. So in garage mode, I'll have 2 main lines which will be able to complete a full loop, and I'm tempted to employ a sort of ABC shuttle on the lines that won't be operating, just so there's some activity on the track. Right, now as you can see, the new station is in place. Now, I set you up, I'm on a new gimbal here. As you can see, oh no, typical, trains have come off. The reason the layout has been out of the garage again was basically to alter the track work and also add in Thirsk station. Now, as you can see here, we've got the 2 platforms. The reason I went for Thirsk is because it's got it's a 4-line station. It's got stopping platforms either side, and then the centre in real life is actually a through high-speed line. So although they do slow down a bit, they still race through. So where the 37 is going now, the longer trains realistically, because it's a shorter station, just fly through. Now, what I've done is I thought I'd add a bit of compromise. I've put the tracks close enough to the platform so I could have a stopping service with a DMU, or even for film and things, I could stop a 91 or a HST there, and from the angle you're looking at it, you won't really notice. So it's all about the compromise. The area that I'm yet to do, don't know if you can see this, so if I spin the camera, the 4th line here, away from me, comes out and actually goes off the edge of this baseboard. So if I show you from above, you can see I need to add in an extra 2 inch or so of baseboard before it comes back. Because I've then pushed the main line out of it, I originally was going to have the Heritage Line station here on the lower level. Realistically, that's probably not going to work. So I could either have an island there, which will allow me to have a DMU platform on the opposite side, or bear in mind there'll be a bridge across the main line about there, where you see my hand. I could have an island platform on that side. Well, the only problem with that is, I don't know, it's a bit out of the way, and I could do it on the corner. I like the idea of having the 5-car train being able to stop in the station, but yeah, so I'm either toying with here or here, and the only problem with this bit is then it becomes a bit building heavy up this end of the layout. But I wanted a station, so that's what I've got. Right, let's move further on. Someone's as bored as ever. Now, looking at it from the other end of the station, you can see where the that piece of track needs a bit more baseboard to be able to hug this platform, and you can see how close I've managed to get the running lines to the actual platform. I'm quite proud of that because it's very realistic and it'll hopefully look great. And as you can see, isn't the layout so much better with trains running on all avenues? It's just really refreshing to get there. Right, this actually was the source. This board was actually where the little kink in the main lines were originally, which I've taken out again before adding in the station. The irony is I've still now got a kink in the track. You can see they sort of bend round the away from the platforms, but it looks far more realistic because obviously you've got a reason for it doing it. And then if we turn the camera around, it goes straight into the embankment to turn left. So what I'm doing, same again, is the embanked curve comes as far as possible and it just stops short of this point. So this will be actually the second shortest with the inner line when I lay it. That's a single piece of track I've got to lay. Will be the shortest embanked curve, so I might keep that at a lower level, but these outer two will be easily 3-4 foot of embankment, and hopefully it'll look quite good. Now, taking you to the other end, this layout, particularly being now modular, hasn't been without its little niggles, as we'll find. So, in essence, it's the same sort of layout that you're building at home, except now every baseboard join, there is now a Dremel cut through the rails. So, in essence, I now have 20 joins on every piece of track where they're not connected. And they have the potential to go up and down with me, whether it just be me knocking the baseboard or the temperature or even just stock itself. So lots and lots and lots of tinkering. And then, of course, to even make it even worse, I've got two heights of lines. So, for example, the heritage line, underneath again, there's another cut underneath, and that can be misaligned where the top works. So, as you can imagine, I've had lots of fun with that. Just where this 37 is about to cross, I've not done this join yet. It's cut, although it's changed again because this is on a embankment going across the baseboard join. I was going to pack it out with ballast and PVA glue, and hopefully that sets like a rock and hopefully keeps the track in situ, but it's proving daunting, shall we say. So while it's running, I'm going to shelve that problem for a minute and move on to something more exciting, probably something scenic. So with the running lines now working, it's only fair that we talk about the stock running on the layout. Now, it feels like ages, so I'm really, really chuffed to be able to get more than one train running around this layout. Now, admittedly, I'm cheating by having multiple running on the single line that's working on the top deck. However, it seems fitting that the brand new Accurascale Class 37 be hauling my Castle Cement PCA wagons. Now, That's, believe it or not, been just running and put straight to work here on the layout, so it's factory fresh. Just in front of you now, you can see my Dapol Class 68 pulling my Accurascale Mark 5s. Now, since obtaining those Mark 5s, I'm desperate to get the layout running. Yeah, they may have had a cheeky run on the heritage line, but it's nice for them to be where they're going to be on the main layout. We also have on the heritage line, you may have seen my Bachmann Hall before, pulling my, I think they're Hornby Mark 1 coaches. But today we have a new addition in the form of the Accurascale Siphon G parcels van, which have just arrived into the country. Shameless plug, for those who don't know, I do now work for Accurascale, so that explains why today's stock is Accurascale heavy, because basically I've got loads of new stuff and I want to play with it. So I'm really pleased I decided to add the station. As you can see, it's not too imposing. I'm really impressed. I had the help of Phil Morton once again, of PGM Models, to assist with the design and laser cutting of this station. Now, as you can see, I've stopped the trains temporarily just so you can see how close the trains actually fit and sit, and it's, I think, excellent. Now, I was undecided whether to actually fit this station to the layout, but I'm really glad I did, and I put it out to a poll on YouTube, and I think I had over 1,000 votes for that, which was incredible. So thank you very much for everyone who overwhelmingly voted for a station, and it's really given me some play value. Now, yes, I think as an exhibition layout, having a station probably is a tad too much in the sort of short space if we're chasing realism. However, the play value is so important on a layout, and even just having this single line running, just being able to stop and start trains, really makes the difference. Also, while I'm here, another improvement I've made, past the trusty hoe, is, as you can see, the layout is now 2 foot off the wall on that side, all ready for scenery, so I can access both the front and back. It's getting exciting. So there we are, we've come to the end of another layout update. I want to take this moment, as ever, to say a massive thank you to the channel patrons for your support and for keeping me motivated with all my behind-the-scenes content as and when it comes up. I'd also like to say, obviously, a massive thank you to the channel subscribers and viewers, because, I mean, particularly the last few months with all the electrical niggles and just repetitive jobs, it's been really refreshing to know that there are people out there egging me on just to sort of push forward in my own way and sort of do a bit more here on the layout. Right, you'll be glad to know I'm going to change tact ever so slightly now, so the track work will continue. I am going to get more and more of the running lines for scenery finished, as in they're ready for scenery. I'm going to get a second running line down the other end so I can have trains going the opposite way as well. They're all going the same way today. So that's exciting, but I will change tack. So I'm going to either begin the scenery on the tunnel section, so this sweeping area, because it's as good as ready to go, minus a piece of track, or on the station. I'm quite tempted by the station. I've seen some DCC Concept / West Hill Wagon Works modern image station detailing bits, and I just fancy a bit of a change and something a bit more enjoyable in my mind. Right, that's for another day. Do let me know which bit you'd like me to start scenic work on first, either the countryside sweeping tunnel zone or the station. Otherwise, I'll let you go and I'll say thank you very much for watching. As ever, take care and I'll see you very soon in the next one. Bye for now. And just before I go, I know exactly what you're all thinking. The sun's out, so I should be working in the garden. Now, it has obviously been winter and I can only really do one layout at a time, but don't you worry, I've been keeping on top of the garden layout, keeping it clean, and very soon you'll see the progress I've been making the other end of the layout. But for now, we're just going to have to play with Lulu. Go on then.